All right. All right. Let's try and get this light right, y'all. I don't know if that's going to be good enough or not. I'm trying to get the light right, everybody. I want it where y'all can see, but it don't blind me. That's what I'm trying to do. Hold on, y'all. Trying to get this light situated. Let's see. What's up, Eric? Just gonna tie some flies, y'all. What's up, y'all? Good morning. What? It is late here in Louisiana. It's at night. It's nighttime around here. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get the light where y'all can see, but it's not blinding me, man. I don't know, I've never had an issue with the light before, but now it's giving me issues. No, I know, Luke. I know. Let's see. All right, let's try that. It's probably not perfect, but all right, y'all. I'm gonna do. I bought some new purple lead eyes today. I'm gonna do some purple. My favorite Bible verse. Probably. Of course, I don't know if I can do it. My hat. Y'all like that? That's beach. Let's see. It's beach and barn. So beachandbarn.com. They got it's a lot of fishing, outdoor clothing, and that's their logo. It's like a rooster riding a surfboard. A buddy of mine is one of the owners of it of Beach and Barn. All right, y'all. Let's do a purple and purple. We might do an all purple fly right here to start off with. throw a little gold and stuff in it. I bought some more purple eyes today. I had ran out. Purple and black is one of the most popular colors for redfish flies down here in Louisiana, probably everywhere, but so I bought some more purple eyes today at the fly shop. If it's your first time watching, y'all, please hit the subscribe button. Trying to grow the channel. Let's just tie some redfish flies up real quick, y'all. All right. Go ahead and run some thread down the hook right here. Little thread base on the hook. All right, y'all, we're going to take, so this glue right here, it dries with ultraviolet light. So we're going to put some glue over the thread right here where we tie these eyes on. You don't want your eyes spinning all over the place whenever, you don't want the eyes spinning all over the place when you start catching fish. So we're going to put some ultraviolet glue over the thread right here where these eyes are. And then hit it with the ultraviolet light, y'all. That's going to dry that glue really fast. I'm gonna start off tying kind of like a purple fly, and then after that, I bought some stuff today. I might get a little creative with it. We might just make something up as we go along. All right. All right. So we're going to grab a purple deer tail right here, purple deer tail, straight out of California. Do I like fishing? Yes, I do. I'm a fishing guide, y'all. That's what I do. I'm a fishing guide in Louisiana. So that's what I do. I take people fishing for a living. All right, so we got a purple deer tail right here. We're going to take and just pull a chunk of hair off of it. And that's going to be the tail on our fly. So I'm just going to cut a chunk of deer hair off here, off the deer tail. So I've got some purple deer tail right here, like that. And all I'm doing, I'm just kind of pulling off any loose hairs that might be on there. Now I'm going to set the deer tail right here on top of the hook. Get a couple of loose wraps to kind of make sure I got it where I want it. And then start wrapping it up on there. How long have I been making lures for? Believe it or not, not a super long time. But I've been a fishing guide for a long time, and I've always been pretty creative, artistic, and stuff. So it didn't take me long to pick it up, especially when you tie as many flies as I tie all the time. I tie almost every day, not quite every day, but almost every day. In fact, this is the second time I've tied flies today. I went live earlier today tying flies. So all I was doing right there, y'all, I was putting some black stripes on the tail. I need to see if I can get this light better for y'all. I don't know. I'm trying to get the light where it's good for y'all, but where it don't blind me while I'm working. So let me try turning this overhead light on. Hold on just a second. Maybe that'll be a little bit better if I turn the overhead light on for y'all. All right, y'all. We threw a purple deer tail in there. We put some black stripes on it. People that watch me all the time are probably gonna be like, dude, he puts black stripes on everything. I really don't. Look at that. I accidentally cut my string. If that happens, you just rewrap some thread on there. Not a big deal. All right, let's throw some purple and gold flash right here on this tail. So I got some purple flash right here. So we're going to take and just pull a few strands of this purple flash right here. That's way too long because it actually came apart out of the package instead of doing like it was supposed to do. All right, so I've got about 4 strands of purple flash right here. I'm going to take that, wrap it right here around this thread one time, pull it up here like this above the fly, kind of hold it up out of the way, and then get a few wraps just to hold it in place. Then I'm going to pull it down to the side of the tail like that and get some wraps in to hold it like that. Now I'm going to grab some gold, which is somewhere, and put some gold on there also. So I'm a fishing guide down here in Louisiana for redfish, redfish, everything, redfish, speckled trout, black drum, all the saltwater inshore stuff. Red snapper also, when red snapper season comes in. Snapper season comes in this year in May. So I do both. I do fly fishing and regular conventional fishing. I've got a fly fishing boat and a bay boat for everything else. So I'm gonna grab about 4 strands of gold right here, y'all. I'm gonna have to let my cat out here in a second because he's starting to meow. So I got about 4 strands of gold right here. I'm gonna do the same thing I just did with the purple. Wrap it right here, pull it up out of the way, get a couple of wraps to hold it in place. Then I'm gonna pull it down to the side just like I did the purple and wrap that. So now we got our deer tail right here, and we put a little bit of purple and gold shine on there, y'all. Y'all, let me let my cat out, or he's just gonna keep me out, and he likes to go out at nighttime. It won't take me but just a second. Come here, Bert. Come on, Bert. Sorry, y'all. He likes to go out at night. All right, now we're gonna grab a purple feather right here. So I'm gonna grab purple feather. Actually, bass will eat these flies too. You know, bass are pretty aggressive, just like redfish are. So these flies, you can definitely catch bass with them. But I just happen to be making a redfish fly. I'll tell you what, since we're doing something a little, we're kind of making this one up as we go along. Let's throw a couple of shrimp eyes on here. Let's give this fly some eyes on the back of it right here, y'all. Just for the heck of it, we'll give it some shrimp eyes. So I'm gonna grab these right here. They're called Easy Shrimp Eyes. I'm gonna take one of them out of the package. So this is what they look like. It's called Easy Shrimp Eyes. And we're gonna take and split the hook with the eye right here. So I'm gonna lay the eyes on top of the hook. And I've got one eye basically on each side of that hook. I'm splitting that hook. And then we're gonna wrap it up. So I do a couple loose wraps so I make sure those eyes are where I want them. And then I go ahead and wrap it up. Just like that. So now we added some little shrimp eyes to the back of our fly right there. Now I'm gonna take some solar res glue. This glue dries with ultraviolet light. We're gonna put it over this thread right here where we put those eyes on. And that's just gonna lock those eyes in place. The green things, they're little shrimp eyes. We put little shrimp eyes or crustacean eyes on the back of the fly right there. All right, we're gonna take a ultraviolet light, y'all, and we're gonna hit this glue with ultraviolet light. It dries it within a few seconds. It makes the eyes glow too. But we're gonna dry that glue real quick. Now we're gonna flip this fly back over. And we're gonna add, what's up, Rube? We're gonna flip the fly back over. And we're gonna put a purple feather around this thing to give it a little bit of body and stuff on the fly. So grabbing these purple feathers right here, y'all. I only need one of these, so I'm gonna grab one feather. Let's see, this one looks pretty good. Actually, this one's fine. So I'm gonna grab one purple feather right here. It's got a little bit of black in it too. It's like a violet color. We're gonna cut off the thick part of the feather right here. What's up, Jackson? All right, and now we're gonna take and set the feather on top of the hook right here. And get a few wraps on it to hold it in place. I'm just gonna pull this thread up out of the way. I'm going to start wrapping this feather around the hook. We might end up using two feathers on here, depending on how this one looks. So we're wrapping the feather, we're starting at the back of the fly and working our way towards the front. Yeah, I'm probably going to end up using a second feather on here. And by the way, y'all, you can go, if you look on my YouTube channel, I started adding, Cameron, man, I wish I could sit and watch this for hours, but duty call in the morning. Awesome, Cameron. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What's up, pond hoppers? Yeah, y'all, I'm a fishing guide down here in Louisiana. So that's what I do. I take people fishing for a living. It's not what I've always done. Believe me, I've had a crazy life, but yeah. So nowadays I just take people fishing, y'all. All right, I'm gonna put one more feather in there just to add a little bit more body to it. Same thing. I just cut off the thick part of the feather. We're gonna add one more feather. How long have I been tying flies? That's what someone just asked me that. So I haven't been tying fly. Believe it, if I told y'all the exact time, y'all would be like, "What in the world?" I've only been tying flies, believe it or not, since January. But I've been guiding. I've been a redfish guide since 2015. So, and been a fly fishing guide for years. So, you know, from guiding, and I've always been pretty artistic and mechanically inclined and all that stuff. So, it wasn't very hard for me to pick up tying flies. Um, I basically, the way I got started tying flies, the way I got started tying flies is I wanted to start tying. So I looked on eBay, and if you look on eBay, people that have like tied flies for a long time decide to quit tying or whatever, they'll sell all their fly tying materials. So I got on eBay and I found a bunch of material for sale, and I won the auction. So I had a bunch of material to start off with that I got cheap because I got it on eBay, and that's how I started tying. And then I tied a lot, and now that I've been tying a lot, I mean I've bought a lot more material since then, and I tie all the time, y'all. I tie flies almost every day. So I'm gonna grab some black. We're gonna put a little bit of black right here around the front of this thing. We're gonna put a little bit of black right here around the front of this thing to like get a little spiky haircut on the front, y'all. Let's do that. So this right here is, I'm pretty sure it's deer. You know, you see the skin right there, the leather, and this is like deer hair, short deer hair. So we're gonna cut, and we're gonna do this a couple of times right here on the front of this fly to give it the effect that I'm looking for. So we cut off a pretty good little thick chunk of that deer hair. And I'm actually gonna turn it this way. Put it right here on the front of the fly. I'm gonna go over his head with it like that, which I know seems weird. But when I start wrapping it, it's gonna make this deer hair wrap around the head and flow out. Watch. Do y'all see how it done that when I started wrapping, how it like flared it out to the sides and everything? Pretty cool, huh? So we started off in one little spot, wrapped it, and it kind of flared all that deer hair out. I'm going to do that one more time just to make it a little bit thicker right there on the front. And then we'll almost, what's up, Cooper? Well, we got a Cooper Guthman and a Cooper Brown. We're going to do that one more time with one more chunk of deer hair, y'all. So I'm going to take the chunk of deer hair. I'm going to kind of sit it on top of the fly, right over his eyes, right over those lead eyes. I'm going to hit it. Just like that. We're making this fly have a bad hair day, basically. Now I'm just going to cut off a little bit right here by the nose so we can tie this thing off. Or right here by the eye of the hook. So we can tie it off. After we tie it off, we're going to kind of shape it up a little bit with the scissors. And then we'll be done. And then we'll tie something else next. Okay. Is there a certain time of year you prefer purple? Not really. The redfish down here eat the purple all the time. It's more of a, and they'll eat it in clean and dirty water, but it's more, for me, it's more of a watercolor thing. So they will eat this fly in clean water, but I use this purple and black a lot in dirty water situations because that dark color, they can see the dark color of that fly better in dirty water than like if I was using a natural color like an olive green or a brown or something like that. They can see that dark color better in water and in dirty water. So if the water's got a little color to it, I'll throw that, or I'll throw it. I'll tell my clients to throw that black and purple fly. And you can also do just the opposite. You can take a like a bright white, like a white chartreuse fly, and do the same thing in dirty water. So either something super dark or something super bright, like bright and white and chartreuse. If you try to go with natural colors in dirty water, like greens and chartreuse, stuff like that, sometimes it's going to be hard for those fish to see those flies in that dirty water. And it's the same with bass fishing. If you think about bass fishing, because I grew up bass fishing, so let's say you go bass fishing and the water is like super dirty, super like muddy water. Man, go out there and throw like red and black crankbaits, like square bill crankbaits up against the riprap, or throw they call it like a what's that called? They call it like a coleslaw colored spinnerbait in real dirty water. Works real good for bass. Like it'll have like a white skirt with a little bit of orange in it, and use white black. I don't know why I'm talking about bass fishing because I'm sitting here tying flies, but yeah, throw like a white skirt with white blades. If you got super dirty water for bass, certain times of year, or like I said, throw like a red square bill crankbait, red and black square bill, that they can see that real good in dirty water. I used to fish a lot of tournaments. In one year, this was back, I fished as a non-boater only 1 year, and I couldn't stand it. For one thing I couldn't stand was the 1 year I fished as a non-boater. It seems like I either beat my boater or whatever. So I just didn't like being a non-boater. So I fished as a non-boater 1 year when I first started fishing tournaments, and then I started fishing as a boater. But anyway, one of my boaters I had though, me and him both made it to the national that year. I won the regional. It was in was it Mississippi or was it Missouri? It was on the Mississippi pool, is all I remember is the name of the. Oh, it was on the. You know what it was on? It was on the. Was it the Columbus River or Columbus River or something like that? And we were fishing the Mississippi pool, and I won it on the co-angler side. I won it that year. But anyway, but one of the boaters I had that year, we were fishing one of my home lakes in Georgia, West Point Lake, and it was springtime. The water was super high and super dirty for the most part. There were some clean parts of the lake, but a lot of it was really high and really dirty. And we were both having a tough time that day. So he's like, well, asking me what my opinion was. So I was like, dude, let's go hit some riprap and start throwing red crankbaits. So that's what we did. We started hitting all the rock banks, throwing red crankbaits, and we both had limits, and we both made it to the national championship. But anyway, all right, y'all. So we just did a little black. I'm sorry, yeah, a little black and purple fly right there. It's got some purple and gold on the tail. We threw a couple of green shrimp eyes on it just for the heck of it. We gave him a little bad hair day right here at the front of the fly. So just a quick, easy little black and purple fly. They love black and purple down here, the redfish do. All right, I bought some blue shrimp eyes today, y'all. And I kind of want to just make a fly up off the top of my head and just kind of come up with something just to use those blue shrimp eyes with all white work in clear water. Yeah, I guess, but if I was fishing clear water like that, I'm talking about bass fishing now. If it was a spinner bait, are you talking about bass fishing or fly fishing? Fly fishing, then definitely you can throw shrimp imitation, the white flies for redfish, and they would definitely eat it up in clean water. We do that all the time. Bass. So yeah, man. White. Probably the two most popular colors of spinnerbait would be chartreuse and a white. Chartreuse and white together, or just chartreuse and then white. That's probably the most popular color of spinnerbait. But if the water was real clean, I would go with natural colors. Like some kind of bait fish looking color, brim looking color, like olive. Some kind of olive color, greenish color. You can never. I'm talking about bass fishing again, but you can't go wrong with green pumpkin, man. I would say green pumpkin's probably one of the most number one bass fishing colors ever. All right, let's just make a fly up off the top of our head. There you go, man. Chatterbait, baby. This time of year, so springtime. Now I'm from Georgia, so I'm speaking coming from Georgia. I live in Louisiana. I'm a fishing guy in Louisiana for saltwater, but being from Georgia, this time of year in the springtime, I'm throwing. If I was home, I'd be throwing chatterbaits and a lot of Rayburn red rattle traps, or like red eye shads or whatever. Rayburn like a red or a crawfish color, and then same thing like doing like square bill crankbaits like in a crawfish kind of color up against rocky banks and red clay banks. So if I was home in Georgia, that's what I'd be doing. But I'm down here in Louisiana. And I'm a fishing guy down here, so that's what I'm doing down here. All right, y'all. Let's kind of make a fly up as we go. Like I said, I bought some blue eyes today, and I just kind of want to use them and do a fly with that. So, gonna start off with a little bit of thread base right here behind the eye of the hook. And if it's y'all's first time watching, please subscribe, y'all. Trying to grow my channel. I've been doing YouTube for years, and I have made so much money off of it. I'm just kidding. I've been doing YouTube for years, and I'll tell y'all the truth. I've made $105. I've got 560 something videos, and I've made $105 on YouTube, and that's just being honest. So, still trying to grow my channel, y'all. So think about all the hours of filming and editing and everything else I've done. to make oh thank you man, thank you. All the hours of filming and editing and everything else I've done to make $105. So that's just the way it is. All right, y'all. So we got a little bit of a thread base right here, right behind the eye of the hook, and we're gonna use a gold eye on this one, just to add a little bit of shine to it, and a little bit of shine to it, just for the heck of it. Oh, thank you, Cooper. Thank you. So, and I know some of y'all might not be interested in this, but I'll tell you how the technique behind tying the fly as we go, just in case you are. So once you kind of get your lead eye started on here, what you're doing, you're running the thread under the hook and over the eye in one direction, and then under the hook and over the eye in the opposite direction. You're making a cross pattern across these eyes. You're basically lashing, if you're in the Boy Scouts or whatever, Everlast pole, you're basically lashing the eyes onto the hook. So I'm going under the hook, I'm going over the eye in one direction, under the hook, over the eye in the opposite direction. I'm just doing little X cross wraps over the eyes right here, y'all. Is all I'm doing. All right, after I get so many on there, I'm going to take, and now I'm going to go under the eye and over the hook. I'm basically going like this right here, and I'm what that's doing is cinching those X's I just made, those little cross wraps. It's cinching those together, tightening those down really tight. That's all I'm doing right now. And after that, I'm just going to go ahead and run the thread right down the hook to get a thread base on the hook. You do that, you don't want to just start tying your material to the hook without having like a little thread base on it, because everything can slip off your hook. All your material can start slipping off the hook if you do that. Yeah, those are pretty tight. I'm sitting there trying to twist them now, and they won't really twist. But what we're going to do, oh, that was another cat. That was another cat, Cameron. So I'm gonna I'll ask you a question here in just a second, Nix. I'm gonna take a little bit of glue right here and put it over the thread where we tie these hooks on. I'm sorry, not the hooks, where we tie these eyes on, just to lock that thread in place, so the eyes don't start spinning whenever you start catching fish. And I'm going to hit and take a ultraviolet light and dry that glue real quick. This glue dries with ultraviolet light, so we're just going to hit that glue, dry it real fast. So Nix, man, probably any of those. It depends. Any of those natural colors on there, like if you see the ones on there that are kind of like an olive color, those will work great. Obviously, the purple and blacks will always work, because you think about when you're bass fishing, think about pig and jigs. But here's the thing: these are made for fly fishing, so they're super lightweight. So you're not going to be able to just take these and tie them to a line and cast them out. I mean, not really. They're really super light, so they're made for fly fishing. But if you fly fish for bass, which a lot of people do, then yeah, these things will work great. All right, y'all. Like I said, we're just going to kind of make up a fly as we go along on this one. I just want to do something with some blue color to it. So let's grab I actually have somewhere right here in front of me. I got to find it. Unless I took it out already. No. I actually have some blue. Here it is. I've never even used it, y'all. But I actually have a blue deer tail right here. So let's throw that bad boy on here. Let's do a little blue fly just for the heck of it. Just for the heck of it. I'll try it out one day on one of my fishing videos. On one of, when I'm out red fishing, I'll try it out one day and let y'all know if it works. But I'm sure it will. All right, we're gonna take redfish are really aggressive, so they eat everything that swims in front of them pretty much. So let's grab a little chunk of blue off this deer tail right here. Use a bait caster, and here they require a bit more weight to cast properly. No, man, you can throw lighter lures with bait casters. Um, Definitely. I mean, on a bait caster, you're gonna have usually a couple of you usually have one knob for your tension, and you'll have like a little knob a lot of times for the little magnets inside the bait caster. But no, you can, if you adjust your stuff right, you can throw lighter lures with a bait caster. It's a lot easier with a spinning rod to throw light stuff. But yeah, you can throw light stuff with a bait caster. Think about like think about like people throwing some of the smaller uh jerk baits and stuff, on a bait caster. But I mean, like I said, if it's real light, I would probably use a spinning rod. But no, you can throw lighter stuff with a bait caster. You just have to adjust. You just have to adjust the settings on the reel to in order to throw that stuff, so you're not backlashing basically. All right, y'all, we got a blue tail in here. I'm just kind of making this fly up as we go along. I bought some blue. I bought some blue shrimp eyes today, and honestly, I'm just doing this because I wanted to use the blue eyes, y'all. Okay. So these are the blue eyes I bought right here, the easy shrimp eyes. Let's throw those on here, y'all. Like I said, just kind of making this fly up as I go along, just for the fun of it. All right, so we're gonna grab an easy shrimp eye. If it's y'all's first time watching, please subscribe, y'all. It's crazy. I've got 500 something fishing videos, but my channel's always grown really slowly. And lately, I've been tying flies. Like I'll live stream and tie flies, and man, sometimes I'll get 10,000 views me tying flies. I think that's weird, but whatever. All right, y'all. And this is what those eyes look like, out of the package. But what you're going to do, you're going to set them on top of the hook, and you're kind of where that V is in the eye. We're going to split the hook with that V. So I'm just going to lay these on top of the hook right here. We're going to split the hook with it. And people that are like redfish fishermen, they're going to be like, dude, why is he tying a blue fly? Just for the fun of it, y'all. That's why I'm tying it. Everything don't have to be like, perfectly matching, whatever bait it is, that you're trying to. I'm tying this one just to have some fun, y'all, just to tie a blue fly. All right, so after we put the eyes on there like that, we're gonna take some of this. We're gonna take some of this Solarez glue right here, put it over that thread where we tied on the shrimp eyes, and that's just gonna help lock those shrimp eyes in place. Got 19 people watching right now. If y'all watching, please give me a subscribe and a thumbs up. Y'all can leave a comment below. I'm trying to read as many of the comments as I can. If I miss some, I apologize, but I'm trying to read as many of them as I can. All right, y'all. Let's add shine to that tail right there. I actually got, believe it or not, some blue shine. Next fly fishing trip I do, the weather's bad here all week. Yeah, so that's pretty close. So the one I just finished, Nick's, is pretty close to that grimace. This right here, I just kind of made up off the top of my head just then. But yeah, that's pretty close to the grimace right there. Oh, that's awesome, Cameron. Thank you, man. Thank you, thank you. I'm from the country too, man. Raised in a small town in Georgia. Any tips on fly fishing? Whew, man, that's that's an open question. Tips on fly fishing. So I'm a fishing guide here in Louisiana, so it might be different from what you're doing, but tips on fly fishing. Practice casting, man. It's it's more of an art, I guess. People do it their whole life, trying to perfect casting. So cast. You can go out to your yard in the grass or whatever and just cast. We're just adding a little bit of blue shiny to this fly's hiney right here, y'all. Just adding a little bit of blue shine to it. But yeah, I'm from the country. I grew up in Georgia, hunting, fishing, all that stuff. But I live down here in Louisiana because fishing down here, people come from all over the world to fish down here. So I can actually pay my bills by fishing down here. So just for the heck of it, I'm gonna add a little bit of we're gonna add a little bit more shine to that fly. I thought I'd pulled some out right here already. I did. It's right here. I got stuff laying everywhere, y'all. Do I still hunt? Man, to tell you the truth, during hunting season, so our super busy time down here for fishing is in the fall. So starting like so redfish, so bass spawn in the springtime. Redfish spawn in the fall. Redfish start spawning usually in August and they spawn through October. So our super busy time for fishing down here is like starting late July all the way to the very end of December. I'm slam fishing down here. Like I fish almost every day except for the days I take off for Thanksgiving and the days I take off for Christmas. Other than that, I'm on the water almost every day during the fall and winter time. All right, y'all. I'm gonna take a little bit of this. It's like a kind of like a pearl colored shine right here. Let's see. My favorite fly for bass. Honestly, I'm mostly I'm mostly fly fish for redfish. Usually, if I'm bass fishing, I'm throwing, I'm using a spinning rod and a bait caster most time for bass, man. And that's just the honest truth about that. I'm normally throwing bait caster and spinning rod for bass. All right, y'all. We threw a little bit of pearl on there. I'm gonna cut this a little short. I don't need it to be that long. Actually, I'll just wait till we get through tying the fly before I cut all that off. So I'm ordered. So we tied a little bit. Actually, I'll cut that little bit off right there. All right, y'all. Now let's add some body to our fly. Let me grab my light right here, y'all. That light is not helping. It's ultraviolet. it's turning everything purple right here in my bag. Just trying to find something to add a little body to this fly. I'll tell you what, we'll throw some we'll throw some fake fur on it to add a body to it. It's not normally. Do I want to do that? Not really. Sorry, I'm kind of making this fly up as I go along. I just thought it'd be cool to do a blue fly. Let's grab. Oh, I got it. I finally found it, y'all. Let's throw a white fly. If you saltwater fish, what is your favorite fly? My favorite fly for saltwater fishing, for redfish, is called a Hopedale crab. Hopedale crab. I tied. You know what? I got some in my box right here. I've tied. I tied some. I live streamed earlier today, and I tied some on the live stream earlier. But this right here is a Hopedale crab. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. My favorite fly for redfish right there. It basically has a deer tail on here. I put black stripes on it. It's got a little bit of shine, a little bit of gold, and some shine on the hiney right there. On this one, I added some crazy legs to it, but you don't really need to. And then like an olive color on this one, I've actually got olive colored feather, and then I got some crack wrap right here around the front of it. But that right there is my favorite. Most redfish catching this fly right there down here in Louisiana. So, you know, me and my clients, that fly right there is probably my number one color right there. All right, y'all. I'm gonna grab a white feather. They call it saddle hackle. I don't know why. I'm not a fly tying historian or anything, but they call it saddle hackle. But it's basically colored feathers. We're gonna cut off this thick part right here. Not gonna use that. Thank you, Stepfire. Thank you. This now the fly I'm tying right now, I'm just making up as I go. I bought these blue shrimp eyes today, right here, and I just want to tie a blue fly just for the heck of it. I'll try it on the next time I get to go fly fishing that I don't have a charter. I'll throw it on there and try it. The wind down here is terrible all week, y'all. It's supposed to be blowing in the 30s. But I happen not to be booked this week. I did a charter yesterday, but it was just a regular spinning rod charter. I do both fly fishing and regular spinning rod fishing. So I do it all down here. My money maker is probably my fly fishing. I stay busier fly fishing than I do spinning rod, but I do both. All right, y'all, we're just going to take this feather and we're going to wrap it around the hook like this right here. Going from the back, working our way towards the front. I might end up doing, I don't know, we might just do that one feather. I thought about doing two, but we might do two feathers on here. So while I'm holding the tag end right here out of the way, I'm just going to do a couple of wraps and then cut this tag end of it off. And then wrap that feather on there so it stays. We might do one more white feather, y'all. And then we'll add some blue wrap and a little shine to the front of it. Let's do one more white feather just to give it a little bit more body. So when this is in the water from California, so I'm a fishing guide in Louisiana. So I'm a fishing guide down here in the New Orleans area. In California, man, we get a lot. Like some of my regular clients. In fact, I talked to one yesterday. Some of my regular clients are from California. They come down every year fishing with me. One of them texted me yesterday, and he's coming down in May. So I get a lot of return clients down here that come down. Some of them come down 2 or 3 times a year fishing. You know, if you look at my YouTube channel and check out some of the regular fishing videos, you're gonna see a lot of giant redfish being caught. So I chase those giant fish all year, y'all. I kind of follow them around and chase those big ones all year long. So I get a lot of return clients that want to come down here and catch those really big redfish. I just follow them wherever they go. All right, I'm gonna put one more feather on here, y'all. Just adding a little bit more body to this fly. But like I said, when this is in the water, all this material, this feather and all, it's all gonna kind of flow backwards like that right there. And I know it's weird me tying a blue fly. Like I said, I'm just tying this fly right here, just to tie a blue fly, really. But like I said, the next time I go fishing that's not a charter, I'll film it for my YouTube channel and I'll throw this blue fly. We'll see if we can catch some fish on it. All right. Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, I can sit here and tell some fishing stories now. I can remember, even though I've been doing this for years, I can remember a lot of the cool. Yeah, so OTB Roach. Yes, if you look on my YouTube channel. Anyway, if you look on my YouTube channel, I have a store on there, and what it does, it goes straight to my website, and I sell flies on my website. I'm gonna be adding more flies. The ones that are on there, I just put them on there a couple of days ago, so I need to add more to it. We're gonna take some of this wrap right here, y'all. Just take a few inches of it right here. We're going to take a few inches of that. We're going to take and get it started on the fly. Well, Nami was talking about the Trump coin. The thing about it is, I wish he would have let everybody know that he was going to do that in advance, because the platform he put it on, that altcoin or whatever, you know, that platform for the crypto platform that he put it on, only so many people, I guess, knew about that. So if I would have known that he was gonna start selling crypto that night, crap, I would have been ready and bought a ton of it, because the people that bought it that night, the night that he basically came out with his crypto, his own coin, the people that bought it that night and bought it super cheap and then sold it when it went up, when it skyrocketed right off the bat, they made some money. But if you bought into it too late, then yeah, you weren't gonna make any money if you bought into it too late. You would have had to buy it when it was like literally, you know, less than $1 or whatever, or a couple of dollars, and let it, and then ride it all the way up to the top, and then dump it. That's the way you would have made money on that coin. Not that I'm not a stockbroker channel, y'all. I'm just saying. All right. So we added a little bit of blue flash on there. Now I'm just going to tighten that down. Well, yeah, OTB, let's see. But if you go on I got a store on my YouTube channel. If you go on there, it links to my website, and you can order flies from there, or you can just go straight to my website, or it's the same thing. If you do the YouTube channel, or if you just go to my website, it's the same thing, and you can order flies from there. All right, y'all. Now we're going to tie this fly right here off. After we tie it off, we're going to kind of trim it up to make it look nice and neat, and we'll be done with this one. That'd be nice too, rooster tail. Yeah, man. This will be. So when I was young, growing up, bass fishing and stuff in Georgia, I mean, man, we used to throw rooster tails all the time. Rooster tail's got to be one of the most fish catchingest lures in history, if you think about it, because it catches everything from brim to bass to whatever. They make big giant rooster tail for really big fish. So yeah, rooster tail's probably got to be one of the most fish catchingest lures in history. That's just like you got all these super high dollar fishing rods and stuff nowadays. You think about it, all these name brand high dollar bait casters and everything else. But the Zebco 33 is probably the most fish catchingest rod and reel ever, man. I mean, the Zebco 33 is old school, probably one of the most fish catchingest rod and reels in history, I would imagine. All right. I'm just taking some glue, and I'm putting glue around this thread right here, y'all, to lock those knots in place that we just tied. And I'm going to hit it with an ultraviolet light, and that's going to dry that glue real quick. Just like that. All right, y'all. I made a blue fly just to make one, just to be different. I'm gonna trim off a little bit of that really long blue right here, just to kind of trim it down a little bit. All right, y'all. So we just made this little fly, a little blue and white fly. It actually looks pretty good. It's kind of like a bait fish, color, even though we made it up off the top of our head. We used some blue deer tail right here. We threw some blue and some pearl colored shine on it. We threw some blue eyeballs off the back of it. We used white feather for some body, and we added a little bit of blue wrap on the front, y'all. So there you go. If y'all were just joining, We tied this fly earlier tonight, little black and purple fly right here. We tied earlier. All right, let's tie another one, y'all. What do I want to tie? Let's see. I tell you what, someone was asking. Thank you, Stealthfire. Thank you, thank you. Someone was asking my favorite fly to use down here for redfish earlier. So let's tie that. Let's tie the Hopedale crab, y'all. So I've just got this is a saber hook. It's a 2/0 hook. So it's a fly. It's made for fly tying. Super strong 2/0 hook. Can't really bend it. I mean, I guess you could if you absolutely tried, but it's gonna be pretty hard. All right, y'all. We're gonna put this in the vise, and we'll tie a Hopedale crab, which is someone was asking my favorite fly. This is probably the most fish catchingest fly that me and my clients use down here. It's called the Hopedale crab. All right, y'all. We're gonna get a little bit of a thread base, just like we did on the other fly, right here behind the eye of the fly, on the hook, I mean. So we got some thread base right there. And something else you can do, I'll show y'all. Let me grab an eye real quick. So on this one, we're gonna put I'm gonna use a chartreuse colored eye. You think you do this full time? That was crazy fast. Man, I tie flies almost every day. Some days, if I have a fishing charter, if I come in, I'm super tired, I might not tie that night. But I've got a ton of flies, y'all. Here's one of my fly boxes right here, and I mean, I tied all those flies right there. I tied, and that's a lot of flies. That's one of my fly boxes. That's one side of it. Then you got this side of it. So I tie a lot of flies, y'all. And I didn't tie all these flies, but I tied some of them. Like here's another fly box. It's got a lot of top water flies in here, like poppers and stuff. But I've also got some of these flies like this that I tie for offshore. So like this fly right here, this big bait fish looking fly. I tie these for offshore, for when like the big redfish and jack crevalle stuff like that are schooling up. You can sling this fly, and when this is in the water, it takes the shape of a bait fish. You know, it kind of flows backwards. Sling this thing in front of those redfish and jack when they're out there schooling, and just hold on tight because they're gonna eat it up. But yeah, I tie flies all the time. So people said when I started tying flies, they're like, man, they're like, if you ever start tying flies, it's addicting. And I was like, whatever. But yeah, it's pretty addicting tying flies. All right, y'all. On this one, we're going to use a chartreuse colored eye right here. And this is considered a large eye. So they're all lightweight, but this one has a little weight to it. Yeah, and expensive. I mean, one deer tail, like I was using earlier, bucktail or whatever. In fact, I'll go ahead and pull this out because this right here, it says $14.95 for one deer tail, y'all. So you go into a fly shop or whatever and start buying supplies, man. You come out there spending $100 something. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you. You spend a couple $100 just on material. So yeah, it gets expensive. All right, y'all. We're gonna take a chartreuse eye, and we're just gonna get it started. And the way you get started, you just do a couple of wraps in one direction, to kind of get the eye started on there. Yeah, man, I got some zonkers right here somewhere. I pulled them out, yeah, right here. Now these weren't quite as expensive, but this is what he's talking about, zonker strips, y'all. This is what these were only like $4.50, but they're made out of rabbit, y'all. So this is a zonker strip, and they make them in all different colors. So when he just talked about zonker strips, that's a zonker strip, and you can get them in all different colors. It's basically like rabbit fur, is what it is. But there's a store down here called No Wake Outfitters, and I go there and get my fly tying materials from there. It's called No Wake Outfitters. All right, y'all. So after we get the eye, just a couple of wraps to kind of hold it on the hook. We're gonna put a couple of wraps in the opposite direction, because you want to get this eye on there where it's like straight. So you want the eye to be like this, 90 degrees with the hook, like that. That's not quite perfect, but I'm about to work on that. Slump busters and meat whistles. Man, I've never heard of that, but it sounds cool. That is a cool name for some flies right there, man. I've got some cool names for some of my flies. If you go on if you look at my the store on my channel, YouTube channel, I've come up with some crazy flies, like my long arm of the crawl. It's a blue crab imitation, but I call it long arm of the crawl. Well, that's cool. Trout candy flies. I have to look it up, man. I'll look you up on YouTube. Slump busters and meat whistles. So now that we got these lead eyes on there, kind of where we want them, we're just going to start doing little cross wraps right here to hold them in place. So I'm going under the hook and over the eye in one direction, under the hook and over the eye in the other direction. And after we get several wraps on there, now I'm going to go under the eye and over the hook, and I'm basically going around those little X wraps. I'm going around those X wraps to pull those things tight. That's all I'm doing right here. I'm pulling those X wraps tight. And now I'm just going to go ahead and put a thread base down the hook real quick. Just like that. And now I'm going to take some glue right here. I got it in a Ziploc bag because it seems to leak for whatever reason. So I'm going to take this glue, it dries with ultraviolet light, and put over the thread right here. So when you start catching fish or whatever, you don't want these eyes to start spinning. All right. And now I'm just going to hit that glue with the ultraviolet light. Just to dry that glue. So if anybody's just joining, somebody asked what my favorite redfish fly is, and that's what we're about to tie right here, y'all. It's called a Hopedale crab. I love you. Yeah, man. UV resins. It's the thing, man. I've got regular resin too, like slow drying stuff for spoon flies. I might have a bunch of spoon flies right here. I've got a bunch of spoon flies right here that I had. I'll just show you what a spoon fly. You might know what it is anyway, but I've got a bunch right here that I've tied that I just haven't. I haven't put the resin on them yet. But I'll show you what a spoon fly is. So this is a spoon fly. It looks just like a gold spoon. That's a spoon fly. But I just haven't put the resin. So once I put the resin on, it'll make this, because right now this is all floppy, you know. But when I put the resin on, this will all harden, and it's a fly, but it's a spoon, so it's super lightweight. Fly fishing 4 years, so I've been yeah, Zappa, yep. So I've been a fly fishing guide now for down here in Louisiana since, let's see, I don't remember if it's been since 2019 or 2020, somewhere around there. And that's basically as long as I've been, now I've been a fishing guide in total since 2015, but I didn't start guiding for fly fishing until like 2019 or 2020. And that's when I started fly fishing. I actually started running fly charters before I knew how to fly fish, because for fly charters, I could take people out my skiff and be like, "There's a red, there's a red, there's a red," you know. And but as far as fly fishing, I'm self-taught. I basically did probably like everybody else, you know, unless they do a class or something, or was raised doing it. I I bought a bunch of fly, you know, I bought some fly rods. I started off with like cheap rods, you know, before I bought expensive rods, fly rods. I bought cheap fly rods to start off with. Watched some YouTube videos. Got like some basic casting down. And the way I learned to do it, man, I would go fly fishing, or I would go fishing and take nothing but my fly rods. That way, I had to fly fish. You know, I wouldn't take any spinning rods, any bait casters, anything like that. That way, I had to fly fish then. So that's how I learned to fly fish. So yeah, I'm tying a Hopedale crab, man. So we got olive deer tail right here, and I cut off a chunk of olive deer tail right here. We're gonna lay this on top of the fly. I usually kind of put a few loose wraps on there until I get it where I want it, get it started, and then I'll go ahead and tighten it up. Just like that. Yeah, just gonna do a quick Hopedale crab. How long have I been tying for? Believe it or not, I've only been, it does, man. Um, Believe it or not, I've only been tying flies. It's gonna sound crazy because I know, uh, I'm not saying I'm a good tie fly or anything, but I tie a bunch of flies. I've only been tying since like January, y'all. I know that sounds crazy, but I have tied hundreds of flies since January. Hundreds of them since January. Uh, you know, so anyway, we just added some black stripes to this deer tail right here. So when this is in the water, all this flows backwards. It'll kind of flow backwards into a point. All right, we're going to add some gold. We're going to add some gold flash to this tail right here. So I'm just going to take and cut off. I got about, that's about 4 strands of gold right there. We're going to take and cut that off. Just like that. So I got 4 strands of, well, about 4 or 5 strands of gold. I'm going to take and wrap that around the thread right here one time. I'm going to hold it up out of the way like that, just on top of the fly. I'm going to get 1 or 2 wraps in to hold it in place. Now I'm going to take and pull this gold down to the side of the tail that we just tied on and wrap it so it stays in place. There, we just added a little bit of shine, a little bit of gold shine at that tail. Now we're going to grab some chartreuse and do the same thing. So I'm not from Louisiana. I live here. I mean, I live here full time. I lived here for years, but I'm from Georgia, but I'm a fishing guide in Louisiana. And I guide south of New Orleans, which is in the water basically. But I guide south of New Orleans, along in the like the Port Sulphur area is mostly where I guide at. Um, I started off guiding in Delacroix, so I used to fish Delacroix a whole lot. I started off guiding over there, but for the past few years, I've mostly guided the Port Sulphur area. All right, we're gonna do the same thing we just did with the gold, except we're gonna do it with the chartreuse. Just to add a little chartreuse to the tail also. So we got a little bit of gold and a little bit of chartreuse. We put some shiny on that honey. Got a fishing camp in Grand Isle, man. I run the Grand Isle. Oh, thank you, Steph. Thank you, man. I run the Grand Isle a lot. In fact, starting this time of year on calm days, I'll run the Grand Isle and fish all those grass islands. I got fly tying materials hit me in my mouth. I fish all those grass islands right there. What's the name of that? The Pelican Sanctuary. I can't think of the name of the island right now off the top of my head. But all those grass islands right there, just I guess south of that Pelican, or not south, east, towards New Orleans of that Pelican Sanctuary, all those grass islands. I fly fish all those, and then yeah, all the marsh and stuff like around Grand Isle itself. I fly fish all that, and then starting in like August or whatever, whenever the bull reds start running in to spawn, they start coming in to spawn. I got a bay boat and I got a fly fishing boat and a bay boat. So I'll take my bay boat down there just for the fun of it. When all those redfish start coming in to spawn, and I'll park it under the bridge that goes over to Grand Isle, and I'll just spot lock right there under that bridge, and we'll take dead crab and cut crab like in half or cut quarter crab or whatever, and drop them up under that bridge and just catch those big giant, 20 plus pound bull reds. Of course, it's all catch and release, but you can, when those fish are coming in to spawn, you can sit up on that bridge right there. It goes to Grand Isle. I'm sure you know that already, and sit there and smoke the redfish. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to find an ingredient I need right here. I don't think I pulled it out of my bag yet. I got stuff everywhere, y'all. I just organized this not too long ago, and it's a wreck again already. I'm looking for one material that I need, y'all. Found it. Jeez. Oh, what's up, Florida? Oh, do I fish the redfish team? Is that what you're saying? Term? What's that? Yeah, hey, Stealth, if you ever, Louisiana is the home of the redfish, man. People come from all over the world. Like literally, I've had people from Poland, Czechoslovakia, all over South America, all over Europe, Canada, all over the United States. People come to Louisiana from all over the world to catch redfish because Louisiana is the home of the redfish, man, and they have giants here, you know. And man, if you ever catch a 20+ pound redfish on a fly rod, that's all you're gonna want to do. People, I got regular clients that come and fish 2 or 3 times a year. I got people that have come down from like Virginia. They'll come fish, you know, for 2 or 3 days. We catch them. They'll go home and they're back the next month to catch some more tournaments. I fished one redfish tournament ever. I used to be in the military. It was a military redfish tournament. It was here in Louisiana. This is back in the I'm old now. This is back in the 90s, and I won it. It was in a. I used all I had. This is crazy. I had a 16-foot flatboat with a 25 horse Suzuki. I'll just tell y'all a quick fishing story real quick. This is the only redfish tournament I ever fished. It was a team tournament. So I was a boater, and you would draw out non-boaters. So I drew a non-boater, and I had a 16-foot flatboat with a 25 horse Suzuki, and all these other guys had bay boats and all that stuff. And it was a super windy day, so we put in for the tournament, you know, and everybody was taking off, you know, and it was super windy. I went right down the main canal, hung a right, went into the marsh, back in the real shallow water. It was super, super windy. And I threw, it wasn't a fly fishing, I was throwing a regular fishing rod. I threw chartreuse spinnerbaits like you use for bass with gold blades, and we won the tournament throwing chartreuse spinnerbaits with gold blades. We beat everybody else in the red. That's the only redfish tournament. That's the only redfish tournament I ever fished. But now they have those big pro redfish tournaments down here all the time. In fact, 2 weekends ago, there was a bunch of guys getting ready for here, like scouting around. I saw quite a few of them at the marina, and they were down here looking for all their areas. Blah blah blah. Let's see. All right, Cameron. Thank you. Man, I go live almost every day. If you hit the little notification bell, if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll see when I go live. Golly. Yes, Stealth. Down here, the lightest weight fly rod that I would suggest using is an 8 weight, but we use mostly 8, 9 and 10 weights. All right, Florida. Thank you, man. Thank you. We use mostly 8, 9, and 10 weight rods down here. My favorite weight is a 10 weight because it handles those really big bull reds really good. And also, if you get a windy day, it's just easier to throw using a 10 weight. I mean, at least for me anyway. So I forgot to tell y'all what I was doing. So I grabbed some EP brush, y'all. This right here, you might be able to see. There's a wire running down the middle of this material right here. And this is kind of like an olive kind of color. It's got a little bit of olive, a little bit of orange, a little blue in it. And we got that started. We're going to add some body, some thickness to this fly. So I got that started on the fly. And now we're going to wrap it. Oh, you bass? Yeah, man. Well, you know how it is around Grand Isle, all up, in that, you know how it is. You get fresher water. I mean, not in the ocean part, obviously, but all that marsh down there, and all that brackish water's got bass. And then you can always run over. There's bass everywhere down here in Louisiana, and all that brackish and fresh water. All right, y'all, we're gonna wrap this EP brush around this fly. We're just adding some. In fact, like down here, I guide mostly the Port Sulphur area, and we'll catch bass and redfish out of the same area. So we're sitting there catching freshwater bass, obviously, largemouth bass and redfish in the same area. And of course, they do the same thing on the other side of the river, like Delacroix. Delacroix has a ton. In Venice, Venice is famous for fishing. So Venice is where the Mississippi River dumps into the Gulf. So down there they catch everything: bass, redfish, tuna. I mean, they catch everything down there. All right, y'all. So we just wrapped some EP brush on here. I'm just going to wrap it up to make it stay on the fly. And what that does, it's just going to add some body to the fly. I'm just going to take it and kind of brush it with a toothbrush. Just add a little body to it. Now we're going to add a little bit of wrap to this thing to give it some shine, y'all. Yeah, you can fly fish for bass. Most of the time, I use a regular fishing rod, but a lot of people fly fish for bass. All right, y'all. So I'm going to grab some wrap right here. It's not crack wrap, but it's real close to it. And honestly, I can't remember the name of this wrap, but it's like a crack wrap. It's just longer, and it's in a strand like this right here, y'all. Big old long strand. But I'm just gonna take and cut just a few inches of this right here. So I got a few inches of it right here, y'all. I'm gonna lay it on the fly right here just to get it started. Do some wraps on here to get it started. And then we're gonna wrap this right here around the fly. I've got some super strong like tweezers right here that I'm putting on there just to help wrap it. All right, y'all, we're gonna start wrapping this around the fly. And as you wrap it, I'm kind of holding that material back towards the back of the fly. I mean, if it sticks straight out, that's fine too, because honestly, when this fly is, when you're pulling this fly through the water, it's called stripping. When you're stripping this fly through the water, all this material is going to flow backwards anyway. But when I'm tying the fly, it just makes it easier if I just hold the material back like that, out of the way. All right, we're going to take this little tag in right here, hold it out of the way, put a couple of wraps on there. And cut that tag end off. All right, sorry y'all. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap that on there to make sure it stays. All right, then after that, we're going to tie off the thread. Little tie tool right here. Usually if I'm tying flies and I'm not live streaming, you can actually tie flies pretty quick depending on how hard, how much material and stuff the fly is. So I know it's been I've only tied 3 flies in an hour and a half, but normally in an hour and a half, I probably could have tied, golly, at least probably 6 flies or so. At least 5 or 6, but since I'm sitting here talking and telling fish stories, it takes a little bit longer. All right, y'all, after we tie that off, we're going to take this Solar Res glue. It dries with ultraviolet light. And I'm just going to add some glue on that thread. Oh, thank you, Stealth, man. Thank y'all for watching. I figure if I'm going to tie flies, I might as well go live on YouTube and try to pick up more subscribers and stuff like that, you know. All right, we're just drying this glue around this eye. I'm going to add one more. I'm going to add a little bit more glue right there. I'm just OCD about it. You know, you start catching those fish, I don't want the fly to start falling apart. Yeah, thank you, Steph. Man, I got tons of fishing videos on there. Both fly fishing and regular fishing. So it's not all fly fishing. I've taken all kinds of people fishing, man, from all over the world. So it's been pretty cool over the years. All right, y'all. We tied my favorite redfish fly of all time, a Hopedale crab, basically is what that is. Got one or two little straggler threads sticking out, but the fish don't care. I mean, people that are super picky about their flies might care, but the fish aren't going to care at all. You pull that thing in front of a redfish, he's going to eat it like a Dairy Queen Blizzard. So, all right, y'all. Just tied a quick little Hopedale crab, or my version of it anyway. There you go, a little Hopedale crab. Let's see. Yeah, fish. Let's see. We'll tie one more fly tonight, y'all. I'm off tomorrow. I don't have to fish tomorrow or anything, but I still get tired, you know. We'll tie one more fly. Sorry about it, y'all. It kind of went offline just for a split second. I really don't know why. Let's tie one more fly tonight. We'll tie a shrimp imitation, y'all. So something a little more lifelike, and we'll do a shrimp imitation. I'm just putting up some material real quick that I don't need to get it out of the way, y'all. I know y'all can't see my desk right here. I've got freaking, every time I tie flies, I got stuff. I got a mess. I got stuff laying everywhere right here. So let's tie a quick. It just went off. It just went offline again for a second, and I don't know why. I've got good signal and I'm on my Wi-Fi. I'm not fishing tomorrow. See you later, Joshua. Thank you, man. So I'm not fishing tomorrow, y'all. I had a charter yesterday. It was a last minute charter. They booked me the night before. The wind is supposed to be super windy all week, so that's why I'm not fishing. It's supposed to be super windy. And when I say super windy, it's supposed to be blowing like in the 30s, man. So, yeah, I'm not fishing tomorrow. It's gonna be blowing. The wind's gonna be blowing too bad. We're about to tie another fly right here, y'all. I was just getting some material. I was just getting a little bit of material out of the way. All right. Let's tie. See you later, Nolan. Let's tie a shrimp imitation, y'all. So we're gonna grab a regular bucktail, deer tail, whatever, and we're gonna use the white part right here, and that's gonna be our tail on our fly. But first, we got to grab a hook. I tell you what, we'll use a different hook on this one. We'll make this fly just a little smaller. It's going to be a shrimp imitation, so we'll make this fly just a little smaller than the other ones. Y'all, I got stuff laying everywhere. All right, y'all. Now this one's made by Sightcast Fishing. This fly is actually made for spoon flies, but you don't have to use it for a spoon fly. It'll work perfectly fine for what we're about to tie. We're gonna tie a shrimp imitation, y'all. So this is just a little, it says it's a size 1 hook, but it'll definitely hold them. All right, let's put this on here and let's start tying. Just for the heck of it on this one, let's use some chartreuse. This is wax thread. Let's use some chartreuse wax thread on there this time. So I'm just going to put a little thread base right here behind the eye, or the eye of the hook. And since we're going to do a shrimp imitation, let's grab a pink eye. Wow, that might be my last. I think that's the last pink eye I have, y'all. Let's grab a pink eye right here for our. Hey, Nye. Thank y'all for watching, everybody. We're just gonna do a shrimp imitation. This will be the last fly that I tie tonight. So I'm gonna grab a pink eye. We got our hook right here and a little bit of a thread base. We're gonna put the pink eye right here and get it started on the hook. That looks like it's lined up pretty good, I think. So once you get the eye started, we'll go ahead and do cross wrap. So we're going under the hook and over the eye in one direction, and then under the hook and over the eye in the other direction. All right. So we're just going to do little cross wraps. We're just swapping sides every time we wrap it. Y'all, I got material laying everywhere. I got fly tie material flying up and hitting me in my face. How much was your jig kit? Oh, this vise. Where do I fish? Miss Angie, I'm a fishing guide down here in Louisiana. Thank you, Airstrike. Thank you. So this vise right here, I got the box for it right here, y'all. I actually got it off Amazon, but it's made by Kingfisher. I think they're a fly fishing shop, and they have these vices made, and it has all the functions of one of those like $500 or $600 vices, but it was only just a little over $100. So. And it does everything the $500 vices do. You're just not paying for that name brand of that $500 vice. All right, after we get the eye on there, I'm gonna go ahead and run. Can y'all see that pretty good? I'm gonna go ahead and run a thread base down the hook right here. We're just gonna tie a quick little shrimp imitation right here, y'all. This will be the last fly that I tie tonight, just because I'm gonna get a little bit of sleep. All right. Yeah, Regal is super well-known brand, you know. So if y'all haven't been watching, I'll just show up the flies we tied so far tonight. So that's just a black and purple, a little bit, whoops, a little bit of shiny on the hiney. We threw some green shrimp eyes on there just for the heck of it. Just a quick little black and purple redfish fly. I'm a fishing guy down here in Louisiana. This fly is blue. We tied this one just for the fun of it, y'all. So this fly, I know it's blue. We tied it just for the fun of it. Used a little bit of blue deer tail. We threw some blue and some gold. I'm sorry, some blue and pearl shiny on the hiney. We threw some blue eyes on there just for the fun of it. White saddle hackle, white feather, and just threw a little bit of blue shine with some gold eyes. So we tied that one really just for the fun of it, you know. And then we tied my most favorite fly down here in Louisiana. It's basically a Hopedale crab. It's just my little version of a Hopedale crab. So like an olive colored deer tail. We threw some shiny on the hiney, some EP brush right here, and then a little bit of shine on it. But someone asked, y'all, I don't know why the internet has cut off like 3 times there. Like I just lost a lot of people. I don't know why. I just checked. My router is over there. It's still online. So I don't know why the internet has just randomly dropped out 3 times here in the past few minutes. All right, y'all. I'm gonna grab a white or just a regular bucktail. We're gonna grab a chunk of white off there, and that's gonna be the tail of our fly. We're just gonna do like a quick little shrimp imitation fly right here, y'all. So I'm gonna grab some white deer tail. Let me find the perfect chunk. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna tie this entire deer tail to the hook. No, I'm just kidding, y'all. Well, I've got Stealth. I've got AT&T fiber optic. I'm a computer. I know y'all don't know my entire past or anything, but I'm a computer nerd. I used to do. I've done all kinds of stuff in my life actually, but I've worked in IT. I did IT. I worked for a major. I worked for a major law enforcement agency in their IT department for a long time. So I'm a computer nerd also. So I've got AT&T fiber here with like 3 gig download speed, but I don't know why the internet just popped out a few times. All right, y'all, we're gonna grab some white deer tail. We're gonna put it right here on top of the hook. That might be a little. No, that'll work. I'm gonna cut a little bit of that off. That's a little long. That's what she said. Anyway, we're gonna tie that on there. Not to me, but I heard they say that. All right, tie that on there. I'm gonna get a couple loose wraps on there just to hold it in place where I want it, and then go ahead and wrap it up. Wrap it up, B. Wrap it up. All right. I'm using a little bit smaller hook on this fly, so where's the OF link? That's hilarious. Snap the line for $15 donation. Oh, you mean my thread? Man, earlier today I snapped it 3 times. I ended up swapping thread. That happens all the time. I don't normally do it on purpose, but it happens. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. All right, y'all, we're going to take a black Sharpie and we're going to put some black stripes right here on this deer tail. Just to kind of break it up a little bit. Make it kind of more, you know, give it a little little bit of lifelike to it. So we just add some black stripes right there, y'all. Golly, 3:30, man. You sound like you're going fishing. All right. Now let's add some eyes to this right here. Since we're gonna do a shrimp imitation, we'll add some eyes to it, y'all. So I'm gonna grab, yeah, exactly. We're gonna grab, these are called crustacean eyes. We're gonna grab 2 of these. 45-minute dry. Woo! So we're gonna grab a couple of these crustacean eyes right here. What is my cats even doing over there? Y'all, I don't know what it is with cats, but at like nighttime, at least my cats, they're up here being like UFC or something. You know, they're like bowing each other off the top cabinet shelf or whatever. I don't even know what these cats are doing at nighttime. What are you doing, cat? Anyway, we grab 2 of these crustacean eyes right here, y'all. I flip the fly over like that. And we're just gonna put these, we're gonna put 1 on each side of the hook right here. And then wrap them up. Golly. Well, y'all be doing some driving for work, man. All right, let's go ahead and finish wrapping those crustacean eyes on there now that we got them in place where we want them. I don't know if y'all can see, but we added a couple of black eyes on there. I'm going to take and put some glue over that thread right there where we put those shrimp eyes on there, just to kind of lock them bad boys in place so they're not spinning all over the place whenever you start catching fish. All right, let's grab the UV light and hit the glue, and it should dry that glue within just a few seconds. All right, we'll flip the fly back over, and now we'll add a little bit of body to the fly. You know, add some thickness to it, some body to it. And since we're doing a shrimp imitation, we'll grab more of a natural looking color. Let's grab this one right here. So we're gonna grab like more of a natural saddle hackle color right here. Let me grab a thicker one right here, a thicker feather. So we're gonna grab some saddle hackle. I'm gonna get one that's a little bit thicker. Like that. I'm gonna cut this thicker end off this feather right here, y'all. Lay the feather on top of the hook. I got feather stuff flying all over the place. Every time I get through tying flies, y'all, I got a mess I got to clean up. All right, let's lay the feather down on top of here. Let's get some wraps in it to hold it in place. And then start wrapping the feather. Oh, you know what? Hold on just a second, y'all. I wanted to put... I almost messed up. I was getting ahead of myself, y'all. I want to put just a little chartreuse, like a couple strands of chartreuse. Just a couple of strands of chartreuse in that tail right there. Just to add a little shine. I'm not using much. In fact, I'm using like 2 strands of it. I got a little ahead of myself. I apologize about that, y'all. It's getting late, I guess. I guess I'm getting tired. So I'm going to grab a couple of strands of chartreuse. Just put a couple little wraps of chartreuse right there along that tail. So I got a couple of wraps of chartreuse. Now I'm going to grab like a little bit of a pink color. Which I gotta find real quick. Here you go. I found it. Y'all, I got stuff laying everywhere since I started tying some flies. All right, we're gonna grab a little bit of pink shiny honey right here. Grab a couple strands of that, and do the same thing we just did with the with the chartreuse. So I got about 3 strands of pink right here. Do the same thing we just did with the chartreuse. I'm just adding a little color and a little flash to this tail right here, y'all. To this shrimp tail. There we go. Just a little flash and a little color to that shrimp tail. All right, now we're going to take a piece of saddle hackle, which I just had. And this is it right here. You know what? I'm going to go with a different color saddle hackle. Let me grab a different one, y'all. We're gonna grab a pink. Since we went with a pink eye, let's throw a little bit of pink saddle hackle on there. All right, again, we're gonna cut the thick part off the feather right here. Like that. Lay it on top of the fly. Get some wraps in it to hold it in place. And then we're going to wrap that feather around there real quick. Thank y'all for watching, everybody. Alright, this will be the 4th and final fly for tonight, y'all. As you can tell, I'm getting a little tired. Although, before I started streaming, I took a little bit of caffeine and a B12 pill, to give me a little bit of energy, but I'm starting to get a little tired. All right, we're just wrapping this feather around the fly right here, around the hook. And that's just going to give it a little bit of body and a little action in the water. We'll cut this part right here off, and we'll wrap that feather to make it stay on there. Just for the heck of it, we'll cut off these little extra strands right here. The fish don't care about these little extra strands at all, but some fly fishermen want their or something. I don't know. All right, y'all. Now that we got that on there, we're going to put a little bit of wrap, a little bit of crack wrap right around the front of it. And we will be about done with this fly. There's a good natural shrimpy color right there. We'll grab this crack wrap right here. It's called crack wrap. We'll grab this. It's kind of a natural little shrimp color. We'll wrap that around the front of the fly. We'll tie it off, and we'll be about done, y'all. All right, let's grab 3 or 4 inches of that. You don't need much. We'll lay it on the hook right here and get it started. And then we'll wrap the crack wrap. Caffeine crash. Man, I took a little bit of, I didn't take much. I took like a little bit of pre-workout and a B12. I didn't want to take a bunch because I knew it'd keep me up all night, but I took a B12 pill. And yeah, I'm just getting tired all of a sudden. But all right, y'all, we're going to wrap this crack wrap. Do I make jigs for bass? No, I don't. I fish for bass, but I'm a fishing guide in Louisiana for saltwater. And I do fly fishing and regular conventional fishing. But yeah, I just tie flies for the saltwater, for the redfish that we catch down here. All right, y'all, we're just wrapping this crack wrap right here around this fly. As we do, I'm just kind of keeping the material pushed backwards towards the back of the fly. As we wrap it up. And then, all right, let's go ahead and get a couple of wraps around that tag end and cut this tag end of it off. We'll go live tomorrow night, y'all, again. I might go live during the day tomorrow also. It depends on the weather and stuff. And we'll tie some more interesting flies tomorrow. I'll do some crab imitations and stuff. They have a little bit more to it. So hopefully keep y'all a little more entertained. All right, y'all, after we get that crack wrap on there, I'm just getting some wraps around to make it stay. And then we're going to tie it off right here. Just cutting off a couple of those little spare hairs right there. All right, y'all, let's tie it off, and then we'll be done with this fly pretty much. I'm going to trim it up, make it look a little bit neater, but we're almost done, y'all. And then I got to put this pile of material laying all over the place up. All right. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you. I will see y'all later, man. Thank you. Thank you. All right, y'all. Just cutting that thread right there off. We're gonna put a little bit of glue around the thread that we just tied off, y'all, just to hold everything in place. And then I'm gonna trim that fly up just to make it a little bit neater looking. And that'll be that. That'll be the end of this fly. This right here is solar res glue. It dries with ultraviolet light. I'm just putting that over the thread that we just tied off. So that it stays the thread don't come apart. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take this glue right here. I'm gonna hit one dab of glue right on the top of the fly right here, because I can't remember if I did the eyes or not. Just to help hold those eyes in place. How much is the one you're doing run? Most of my flies, online, I sell for around $10. Some of the big flies I tie, like my offshore flies, are a little bit more. But the offshore flies are just they're time consuming. Sorry, y'all. I got fly tying material. But most of the flies that I buy, because I still buy flies, most of the flies that I buy are usually $8 to $10. I'm basically just kind of matching what other people charge. That's basically all I'm doing. I'm just kind of straightening up this fly, y'all. Any little weird looking. All right, y'all. So we did a quick little shrimp imitation. We got some deer hair right here. We threw some black stripes on it. I put a little bit of pink and a little bit of chartreuse shine on the tail. We threw some black crustacean eyes on there. We threw a pink feather on there, pink saddle hackle feather, just for some body. And then a little bit of natural color crack rat right here at the front. And of course, when this is in the water, when you're stripping it through the water, it's gonna lay backwards like that, y'all, when it's flowing through the water. But yeah, cast that in front of a redfish and strip it a couple of times. If he don't eat it as soon as it hits the water, he'll eat it when you strip it by him. For those of y'all just joining, I'm about done with my stream, but I'll show y'all what we tied tonight. We started off with a black and purple. You can't go wrong with black and purple fly down here in Louisiana for redfish. So start off with black and purple. So that was the first fly we tied. Just for the fun of it, this one right here is not really that natural. Thank you, Stealth. Let's see. Alabama. So Kevin, I'm from Georgia, man, but I live in Louisiana. I'm a fishing guide down here in Louisiana. But yeah, I'm the same way. I grew up bass fishing, freshwater fishing, all that stuff. But I've been fishing down here since 1997. I started guiding in 2015 down here. So this fly we just tied just to have some fun. We did a blue fly with some blue eyes, just to have a little bit of fun with it. A little bit of blue shiny on the hiney, a white feather, and some blue wrap around the front of it. That's just a more of a fun fly, y'all. Just to do something in blue. Then we tied my favorite fly of all time for redfish, Hopedale crab. That's my most fish catching fly down here as far as redfish. It's just kind of a natural color fly. So we tied that. And then we just finished it off, wherever I put it, oh, right here. Like a little, kind of like a little shrimp pattern fly. We just finished off with that little shrimp pattern, y'all. And that is about it for the night, y'all. Rundown on tools you need for tying flies. Your main tool is this right here. You need a vise. There's tons of vices out there. You can get them that clamp onto a table or whatever. And I used to use a clamp on, but it's kind of a pain. So this one has a heavy base to it, so it just sits on your table, and you can flip it all around, you know, which is a really good feature. That way you can spin your fly around when you're working on it. What else? It's basic stuff. You got to have scissors. You know, you need scissors. You need bobbins for your thread. It's really basic stuff. If you go, a good idea you can do, get on like eBay or Amazon or something, and they have fly tying kits on there. You can buy entire kits of stuff to kind of get you started. And you don't have to go with the most expensive thing to get started, man. You'll probably, if you tie a lot of flies, you're probably going to upgrade pretty quick. But the vise is probably the most important thing. The better the vise is, you can definitely notice a quality vise from a non-quality vise. And they got all kinds of super expensive vices out there. There was somebody watching earlier, and she said she has a Regal, and like Regals are super expensive. You know, a lot of them are like in the hundreds of dollars. My vise was just over $100. It's a Kingfisher. That's the box for it right there. Kingfisher. You can get them on Amazon. So that's the vise I have. But yeah, man, the vise is probably the most important thing. A really good vise is the most important thing. But I'll tell you, like everybody else told me, man, if you ever start tying flies, it gets addicting. So, like, get ready to spend some money. You know, fly tying material, for the most part, some of it's expensive. You know, so just letting you know, man. Fly tying material, you start buying a lot of it, it can be expensive. Like, I'll go to a fly shop, my local fly shop here, and like today I went in there just to buy some little lead eyes and stuff, and that's all I really bought. I bought some lead eyes and just a little bit of stuff, and I still spent close to $40, you know. So yeah, it gets expensive, y'all. But if y'all are new to my channel, new to watching, I don't just tie flies, y'all. I'm a fishing guide in Louisiana. I've got 500 and something fishing videos on my channel. So if you check my channel out, you'll see a lot of fishing, not just me tying flies. In fact, me tying flies is really the most recent thing I've done on my channel. I haven't been tying flies on my channel very long. Most of my content is actual fishing videos. So if you check my channel out, you'll see a bunch of videos, a lot of big fish being caught. I've had people from all over the world. I've had one or two celebrities, one for sure. So if you look on my channel, you might see a couple of people on there, you know. It's just fun, man. I grew up in Georgia bass fishing, but nowadays I'm a fishing guide down here in Louisiana. So that's what I do now. So y'all, I'm just putting up all my material, everybody. I think I'm done tying for the night, y'all. I'm just kind of putting material up and answering whatever questions I see on the chat, y'all. I usually live stream almost every day, tying flies. If I'm on a fishing charter, we'll live stream our fishing charters sometimes, especially if we're out there smoking them. We'll live stream some fishing charters. Um, but almost every fishing trip I do, uh, we record. You know, I film almost not every trip, but almost every trip I do, we film it for YouTube. I say we, I'm a one man crew, but I film it for YouTube and put those videos on YouTube on almost every time. Almost every time we have a charter, I'm usually filming. So let's see. I don't see any more questions right now. I'm just putting up all my material, y'all, so I can get a little sleep and do it all again tomorrow. Well, y'all should check out my channel and check out the actual fishing videos. And also, I sell flies. If you go to my YouTube channel, I have a store on there where I sell my flies. I'll be adding more flies. I just added those flies to my YouTube channel like 2 days ago. So I don't have everything on there yet. And I do it all myself, y'all. I made my website and I added the store. I do all that myself, so I just got to add some more flies to it. I said I'm a one-man crew, man, so I do all the filming, all the editing, all the fishing, all the everything. I'm almost done cleaning up, y'all. I can't believe it. I had stuff laying everywhere. I use I got like a plastic drawer system over here. It rolls around, and I got 4 drawers absolutely loaded with fly tying material. And I'll organize everything. It'll be all nice and neat. I'll tie flies like once, and it's all destroyed. So that's just the way it is. All right, y'all. I think that's everything. Just to show y'all how much I tie. This is one of my fly boxes right here. This is one of my boxes. And like, that's just one side of one of my boxes. And I tied all those right there, y'all. So that's just one side of one of my boxes, and I tied all these flies. So I tie almost every day, but we use them. I'm a fishing guide down here in Louisiana, so we use, I use these flies. I put them to work all the time. Like here's one of my offshore flies right here. So we use this offshore for like big redfish, big jack crevalle, stuff like that when they're out there schooling up offshore. But yeah, y'all, I tie all the time, y'all. Tomorrow we'll live stream. We'll do some more interesting flies tomorrow. I know tonight they were kind of basic flies. We'll do some crazier ones tomorrow. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. I'm going to get a little bit of sleep. Please subscribe and all that stuff, the thumbs up, all that kind of stuff. It helps me a lot. And thank y'all, and I'll see y'all later.